Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Tuesday, January the 30th, 2024. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, January 25th, 2024 at 4:10 p.m.
Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Jimmy Hunter of Tolliver Missionary Baptist Church to come forward and help us with our prayerful thoughts for this morning, and recognizing Commissioner Patricia Miller, who we dearly miss already. Have a seat, please. We will say the pledge in a second. I wanted to take just a minute to recognize Mr. Robert Miller here today, and want to extend our deepest sympathies from the court and our tremendous loss from not having the wise wisdom that Patricia Miller brought to this group. And I'd like to take an opportunity for each one of the court members to remember her in their words. And, you know, I would start out with saying that she and I look to each other to solve problems and resolve issues. And we never had a disagreement or an argument. We might debate a little bit, but we always came to a conclusion and had respect for each other's position. And that will be greatly missed, I can tell you. And on top of all that, being just a lady, a true, the perfect lady, and everything that she did, and the decorum that she helped bring to the court was something that you don't find very often in political situations. So our deepest sympathy goes to you, Mr. Miller, and the rest of the family, and Patricia's sister as well. And so, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir, thank you. Robert and family members, friends, being the newbie on the court and having only served about 3 years, going on 4, and sitting next to Pat, I would tell you that she was almost like a mentor to me in the way that she handled herself and her business and what she did. I was always in awe of her remarkable energy and her dedication and everything that she was able to accomplish. And I don't know this for certain, but I really feel deep in my heart that her mission in life was to make this world a better place for everyone. And I would say that she didn't do it one step at a time. She did it running fast. I was amazed at all the different things that she was able to accomplish sitting next to her. I know Matthew chapter 5, verse 4 says, "Blessed are those that mourn, for they will be comforted." And so my prayer for you, Robert, family members, and friends is that you find comfort in God's word. Bless you.
Thank you, Mr.
So I have really enjoyed getting to know Pat. I really enjoyed working with her even before she was commissioner. And I called her my friend, and I've enjoyed getting to know you also too, some, Robert. And she brought just a tremendous amount of energy to the Precinct 2 commissioner position, and she's going to be really missed.
So it's been 14 years that I've been on the court. She should be walking through that door with that smile and that class and that professionalism that you didn't have to talk to her. You just had to see her to know that's what she possessed. Those were her qualities and her characteristics that stood out the most to me. Mr. Miller, the way you two honored one another and loved one another and cared for one another is a whole nother lesson outside of this courthouse that people should know and see and embrace. For a husband and wife to do that for one another was remarkable. I do extend my sympathy in anything that I can do to help you guys. You know I'm here. But I do want to share a funny story right quick before I close, is this past budget year, she and I were talking, and we were talking about some figures, and we were talking about some of the line items and the budgets that were coming in. And she kept telling me, well, we need to get that a little lower, and we need to get that a little lower. And I said, you know what? I said, it sounds to me like you're more of a conservative. She said, she looked around, she said, don't ever use the C word around me. She said, I'm fiscally responsible. So, truly a genuine friend, and I've grown, since she was elected as commissioner, I've grown to know her more and more and to love her for what she was. And she does the same for everybody that she comes in contact with. So we know where she's at. We didn't lose her because we know where she's at.
Thank you. There's other members of the McLennan County that want to say a few words. Please do so at this time. Not required to by any means, but if anyone wants to say anything. Chief?
On behalf of the McLennan County Sheriff's Office, we could tell how much she cared for everything that we did. She was interested and she was constantly supportive. And we could feel it. So, just wanted y'all to know that.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes, sir. Mr. Miller, on behalf of the Veteran Service Office also, I wanted you to know that Commissioner Miller was very supportive, very much involved. Y'all have attended many functions over there at honoring veterans and their services and sacrifices. And I just wanted you to know that it really did touch my heart there to know that she was really dedicated to the cause. And just kind of wanted you to know that, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, at this time, if you would, ask everyone to stand to have a pledge to the flags led by Veteran Service Officer Steve Hernandez.
Please join the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, for the guest here, you're welcome to stay. Today is what's called department head reports. Each department head gives what the activities that their departments have done, and so you're welcome to stay and listen to it. Sausage is made if you want to, or it's absolutely fine if you want to leave at this time as well, so it's up to you. And thanks everyone for coming. Yes. Okay, sure. If you'll come forward.
I promise I'll be brief,
Okay.
but there's a passage of scripture that says, too much is given, much is required. And I think it's a scripture that calls us to action for all that God equips us to do. And when it comes to Pat, certainly that is a scripture that is most befitting for her, because she operated under that mantra. Everything that she did, and there was no separation from her life as a believer and her life as a service person to the county. And I think she was one who, it was not about her. I mean, yes, she had her political affiliations, but she did not let that cloud what she had to do for the entire county. And that says a lot about her, for all of the issues that she fought for. And it may not have been something that she didn't have some, budding about, but she continued to press forward for the agendas that she felt crucial to the constituents of the county and precinct that she served in. And I am prayerful that as the court moves forward, that whomever the next appointee is to finish out her term until another election comes, that person would also embody the things that she has fought for the years that she has served on the court, because I think that's going to be crucial for her particular precinct, most certainly, and for the entire county overall. So our church at Tolliver Chapel certainly will be prayerful for you in that deliberation, and certainly as you continue to do the work of McLennan County that you have been doing. I was proud to serve as her pastor for over the 22 years that I have been here in Waco, and she has been just a vital force in our church life as she was here on the court. Very active in her church life. That did not wane during the period that she has been on the court. She was just as involved on that side as she has been on this side. So yes, the term that you had on the screen, legacy, she has a great legacy that she has left here in our county, one that will live for a number of years, being the first elected female on the court who just happened to be African American. That was a blessing for our community. So we will long remember her, and thank you for this opportunity just to give these remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and very good remarks. And so we are open to public comment section. If there's anyone else who wants to speak, please do so at this time.
I would just like to say, she loved his court.
We felt that.
And she was very special.
Absolutely.
I remember talking to God and said, that was too quiet. And I needed a wife. I made that comment to her, and she said, you didn't know what you was asking for. She was very special, and she was very faithful.
She was, absolutely.
Very much so. Very much so. She respected every member of this court. I mean, it was so obvious, and like we respected her. And we're gonna miss her. We're gonna miss her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other public comments? If not, Moving to proclamation, I'd make a motion that we defer D1 at this time.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed. Under E is acceptance of county department head, staff, departmental reports and updates. I'd like to start with item E1 under juvenile probation. Let's see, is Colin on, or is he just submitting the, he is, okay?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, was it my turn to speak?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, we
Okay, I'm
don't see
sorry.
you
I
on the
could-
screen.
For some reason, I barely got any audio this morning.
Okay,
Good morning, Commissioners. From the department, we offer condolences on the passing of Commissioner Miller. She was a great advocate for the kids in the community, and she will be sorely missed. For this report, I totaled the numbers that I usually give the commissioners for for calendar year 2023. So it's the entire calendar year. So for 2023, we had a total of 599 referrals. We break this down further. For probation, we had a total of 284 juveniles that were on court-ordered official probation during that time frame. 152 on deferred prosecution, and 318 on conditions of temporary release or conditions of release. For detention, we had a total of 523 juveniles that were placed in our detention facility during 23. 502 releases during that time frame. That gave us an average daily population of 18 juveniles and an average length of stay of 16 days. For the entire year, each month, we average about 18 juveniles that were on some form of psychotropic medication. We currently have 15 boys in our detention center and 3 girls. And that is it in a quick nutshell. I would be more than happy to answer any questions the court has for me at this time.
all right, thank you. Any questions, comments? Is there a motion to accept this report for recording purposes?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, next, go to under items E2, engineering monthly activity report. Zane? Pardon me?
Judge, Zane is out, and so we can either accept this for recording, or we can defer it and have it back on a future agenda.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. Next is, under E3 is, County Veteran Service Officer Report, Steve Hernandez.
Good morning. As you can see, our normal report of who we see in the office, but some of our milestones are, because of the quarter, we usually help with the operations of the One Stop with the Christmas Day dinner, as well as Thanksgiving dinner, as well as the Veterans Day Parade. And we receive donations through the One Stop for toys and coats that we usually help distribute. So that was kind of the quarter that we kind of got involved in. And then we have been getting more involved with reentry. The Salvation Army has been calling. Since they have the federal contract of reentry veterans that have been in prison, we've been trying to get them stabilized with the homeless coordinator with the VA, as well as some of the local resources, and then trying to reinstitute their benefits. Because a lot of times they may have been overpaid, and now they have an overpayment that we try to get waived so we can get them back on track. So the recidivism or the return to prison won't occur. But that's kind of been I guess the activity that we really have been kind of experiencing this last quarter, the trend usually for the fourth quarter is usually kind of low as far as visits within the office. Have been getting a lot more surviving spouses also that have been coming in. We've been having a lot of veteran deaths. And we've been helping with surviving spouse benefits.
Right.
It's our relationship with the VA is still good and strong.
Good, good, good.
So I think that's about it, other than if y'all have any questions on the actual reporting.
Any questions anyone have? All right. Is there a motion to approve Steve's report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Pass. Thanks, Steve.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, next is, let's see, did I skip one?
Down the bottom.
E4. E4 is maintenance of equipment. Call on Michael Graham.
I'll take that, yes.
Okay.
Morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This report will cover October through December of last year. In the radio shop, jail repairs, we had 10 work orders with 15 labor hours. Radio and tower project, we had 46 work orders with 79 labor hours. Equipment install, removal, and repair, we had 36 work orders with 87 labor hours. For the sign shop, in October, we had 8 sign orders, 76 signs covering 4 departments. November, we had 5 sign orders for 80 signs for 3 departments. And December, 4 sign orders, 141 signs for 3 departments. And then vehicle maintenance in October, we worked for 6 different county departments with 107 work orders, 12 state inspections, and $8,965 in outside repair costs. November, we had worked for 6 county departments, 70 work orders, 7 state inspections with $5,179 in outside repair costs. And then December, 4 county departments, 77 work orders, 8 state inspections with $3,918 in outside repair costs. November and December were down a little bit simply because of the holidays. So that kind of covers that quarter.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions anyone have?
Okay, thank you.
Not, if there's a motion to approve or accept the report for recording purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you. Under E5 is purchasing monthly activity report. Ken Bass.
This past quarter, we've had a number of large bids issued. We had the Chapel Road improvements that was issued. They had the public meeting last night, which I attended for a while.
How many people were there?
I don't know how many, but it's a good turnout.
Was it?
You remember how many Chrissy signed in last night? Yeah, I would venture a guess, probably 50. Yeah.
A lot of interesting questions.
Were they?
Yes. And just so you're aware, I mean, you may be, but that project is going to be about 2 years.
Right.
So I wanted to share that with you.
Newspaper did a pretty good
Article
article
on
on
that.
it. It's pretty thorough and seemed to be right.
And of course, we had the Elmont WCID #2 water sewer improvements, and that's underway. It got started first this month, and that's going to be about a 4-month project. And then we had East Rainier Lane low water crossing improvements, and that started this month, and that's going to be about 3 months. I was looking back at Castleman Creek. I'm crossing over a little bit because this usually would be under Zane, but Castleman Creek, that project's supposed to be done in May, but I believe we're going to be getting some rain delay requests on that, so that may run a little bit longer. The towers, we're getting awful close. We've been entertaining and processing a number of large invoices coming in from Motorola. We had about 4 large POs, and those are starting to come down. As a matter of fact, before I came to court this morning, I had another one to process, about $121,000.
Have you seen price increases in those?
No.
What they originally,
No, sir. It's all staying pretty much where we set the purchase orders. Any increases came through court and was approved a long time ago. We hadn't had anything recent. Now, we've had some parts that weren't part of the Motorola contract that we've come to court and asked for more money for, but that didn't have to do with Motorola, that had to do with our side and different pieces. And right now, having more towers, I'm already seeing kind of an increase in repair costs already, so.
On new towers?
Well, we had one that was struck by lightning that was actually kind of completed, and it's taken a long time to get that one completely repaired back and up in service. That was at Precinct 2.
Right.
So, but I think some of the parts, the battery backups and stuff, we've already had to replace some batteries in the battery backups.
How long were they in service before we had to replace them?
Well, we've had them for a long time.
Okay.
Not necessarily in service. Again, the project has run a whole lot longer than the original intent was. I've been sitting on 415 Columbus. I think TJ can give us a little bit of an update on that, but we're still waiting for the electrical hookup for the historical building. When they do that cutover, then we can see about getting a bid issued for the demolition of the building.
So who do we need to talk to get that sped up?
You might ask TJ, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think this is on Encore. so-
Okay, well, I saw the regional manager yesterday.
Okay.
I couldn't think of anything to get on him about. Now I know.
I continue to sit in on a lot of the meetings that Brinkley Sergeant is having on the jail. We have meetings this afternoon with some of the departments to go over the plan sets as we have them now and make any last minute improvements, so.
So let me back up just a minute on
Yes, sir.
the Columbus Avenue property.
Uh-huh.
Now, have we bid out demolition, but we just have to wait till the utility, or
No, we were waiting for that.
so why do we need to wait for that? That's what I.
Well, that's a good point. We have pretty much the specs set, so it would, we could probably get that sent out. You're right.
I mean, unless there's a reason not to, we need to have a sense of urgency about that, because that's our staging area. And plus, it could be extremely useful on jury call day and that kind of stuff
Yes,
too.
sir.
So I would press on as hard as we can on that.
Very good, sir.
How long have we been waiting on Encore for the electrical move?
I'm sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'll call.
Well, visit with TJ on that.
Okay, I will.
Then, let me see. Again, most of my stuff is, we have a lot of stuff that's on the bids that are going to be, we have a lot of our regular stuff, like the culverts and crushed limestone and riprap, pit run, aggregate, asphalt emulsions, all those will be going out this month. But we have waiting in wings. We're waiting a little while, but we'll be needing to, we had the parking lot improvements at the fairgrounds that we kind of committed to, and we'll start working on that. TJ has been working, we're talking with the folks on repair the roofs from the hail damage, and we have a system working on that where we'll be inviting people that are on a TIPS contract to give us quotes on how much they would do that for. But we have our biggies in Central Texas that are under those TIPS contracts. And so we don't have to do like formal bidding because it's on cooperative agreements. But we have Parsons, Johnson, and Clark Roofing all under that TIPS contract, plus some others that I wasn't even aware of. Maybe too large a project for them, but we're inviting them to be on that. We have the JP5 edition that I think has been discussed, but we'll have to go from there. We have, we had the RFQ we had for a grant administrator, and we rejected all on that. I'll be working with Dustin and possibly Zane, working on our next steps on what we might do with a grant administrator. We may initially go for an administrator on the RAISE grant for some bridges, which we know is out there. And but I kind of need a set on what kind of bridges we're talking about, what specific bridges, but we would need to do a RFP for a grant administrator where I'd used an RFQ, and then we'll need an RFQ for an engineer, which is much the same process that we use for the block grant for like we've used it for Elmont. So we'll probably be using that same system. Then got word from Zane the other day that we've got the specs for Holy Road. There's 2 low water crossings there that need to be repaired. So quite a bit of action coming up probably in this next quarter. So, but that's pretty much it.
All right. Any questions anyone have? All right, is there a motion to approve Ken's report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Passed. Thank you, Ken. All right, next, going to items E6, maintenance of buildings, TJ Jackson. Morning, TJ.
Good morning, everyone. So you have before you my standard report. I'll hit a few of the topics that Kim was talking about. So 415 Columbus, Judge and Commissioner, just so you're aware, it's not an encore holdup. The city required Bowen to go back through and design the main feed coming into both of our properties. So they've gotten through that process. The permit was released last week. They are scheduled to be here this week to finalize the tie-ins. Okay. So we're well within on our way of making that happen over there. Right, so we should be ready to go as far as releasing the bid package.
All right, great, thanks.
Just a few other things. Work orders look good. You will see a project of interest on here, the HVAC control system. So everyone's aware, we have always used Johnson Controls in the past. We're starting to see, we're at the end of lifespan for a lot of those controls. We're starting to see controllers drop out. NAEs start to fail on a regular basis, and those are very expensive items. So we will bring a project to the court probably around budget session to talk about changing those out to a non-proprietary system that is open, of course, to multiple contractors. So we're not just held to Johnson Controls. Couple other things, I've got 2 Tech 1 positions open right now. We're struggling to get applications, so if you guys know of anyone, please send them our way. We can use some help in that area for sure.
What area of expertise would they need to be proficient in, TJ?
So it's entry-level technician, so it's building maintenance, light plumbing, light electrical, door control systems. It's starting fresh. And yeah, we'll take some help if we can get it. Other than that, Judge, that's about all I've got, if you've got any questions.
All right, any questions anyone have for TJ?
TJ, under
Yes, sir.
the items repaired, replaced, are those in-house repairs or those third-party vendor repairs?
Yes, sir, those are in-house repairs.
Okay, all those are in-house. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when we do third-party vendor, much like some of the other departments, can we put a dollar price to those so we'll know kind of what's being spent, third-party vendor? Is there a way to know that?
Absolutely. Yeah, you just referring to the quarterly report if there's an item on there that's done by a vendor?
Yeah, that's something like
Sure,
that,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
wouldn't
we
have to
could
be,
do-
it wouldn't have to be itemized, it could be total. You know, it would, just so we have an idea of how much is being spent in third-party vendor-wise.
Sure, yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
So TJ, on this entry-level building maintenance, that you continues to be open, and this may be more of a question for Anna, and just thinking about Facebook, I've found it very, it's a pretty good medium to advertise something like that. Do y'all have specific posts that you put on Facebook for these specific jobs, or are we just doing
Anna, come forward.
and we can wait till Anna's.
That's all right. It's be a good opportunity for a public address announcement for her to say what we need.
Hi, everyone.
Morning.
We don't have a specific maintenance tech posting on social media.
But we need one.
We do include it in our streaming radio ad, and then it's posted on Indeed, which is the most popular online job board.
Yeah.
We do have an interview scheduled for Tech One next week.
Great.
Okay.
And yes, we'll try to find a way to do a general job posting on social media. We need a
I think it
we
needs
need
to
a
be
county
specific,
public page,
like,
Casey page.
hey, we've got Tech One position, entry-level building maintenance, that's,
People interested could share it.
yeah. I would share it on mine.
Tag
I mean, I'm kind of a Facebook junkie, but, so, I mean, I don't mind sharing.
Okay, I'll work,
Just, I think you need a little bit of specific detail language in there about the type of job. And I'm gonna try and tell you what to do, but when I see stuff, I know that I want a specific, if I'm gonna respond to something, it needs to be specific and, timely, and
yes, sir, you're
how much.
spot on.
How much
To the
and
point,
benefits
brief.
and stuff like that. Yeah,
To the
right,
point and
yeah.
brief usually works best. Social media, Facebook has
5
been
lines.
by far, social media and Facebook has by far been the most effective way to advertise jobs. We just need a general McLennan County Facebook page to work off of. We've been working off of the Sheriff's Office Facebook page, official Facebook page for their posting. So that would be the missing link there. And as soon as we had that and determine who would be responsible for content creation, things like that, then social media job postings would
Maybe by department,
work.
even Facebook.
Well, I mean, the thing is I think there's been a hesitancy with Facebook, and that's not where, we don't need to be hesitant anymore. So,
No, because it works. So
yeah, it
I would-
does.
I would agree with you.
Do y'all have access to the video board in the entry to the records building where all the people set out front, tax office?
Yes.
So y'all do
Yes, we do.
postings there?
Yes, sir. We've been using that, and then we hope to.
Usually so people are so mad when they're in there. They don't look up. That's my opinion. So.
That'd be right. Thank you.
I've been impressed about how fast they wait on you. I mean,
They do, yeah,
they
you're
really get in and out.
you're in and out very,
That's amazing.
very quickly.
when somebody's having to pay and they're mad about that, their personal financial situation, which I understand that time to time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And let's see, did we get action on TJ's report?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, is there, if there's no other questions, is there a motion to approve TJ's report for recording purposes?
So move.
Second.
Motion made second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, pass. Thank you. All right, next going to item E7, pretrial services, reports in your package. Judge Bain is not available this morning. We can either hold this, or if you're good with it, we can go ahead and approve it for recording purposes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second, any other discussion? No.
One discussion real quick, Judge. On some of the magistrate bonds, if people haven't issued magistrate bonds in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, are their names still on here? Is there a reason we still have names on here that we couldn't pull off?
I'm assuming they're still in business, but I don't have an answer to that.
The PR bond issued by a magistrate? Like Allen?
Well, those are the judges.
Yeah, those, are they still active? Are they, all of them still active?
He's, yes, well, he's been a visiting judge,
Okay.
but I don't know when's the last time he's been active or not, so.
I was just curious. I just, every quarter seemed like a lot of zeros across some of them, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see, and we called a vote on that, so we're done with that.
No, we haven't voted yet.
No, we haven't voted.
Haven't voted.
All right, there's no other discussion, we had a motion second though.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, I do remember that. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right, going to, Health Services Monthly Activity Report. Call on Heather Travers. Morning, Heather.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
If you'll kind of scroll with me through these meeting activities at the beginning, under additional coordination, at the bottom, I have Velocity, formerly Impact, and next to that, I have Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest. If you'll just draw a line through Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest, I apologize, there's no affiliation with that. I'm not sure why I put that on there. What I'm referring to here is Impact Research. Dr. Gunn's clinic has been renamed now, and it's under the business of Velocity. And they're actually going to be coming later this week and visiting with us about some changes that are going on there. But I just wanted to clarify that there was no affiliation with Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest at that.
Thank you.
But as you can see in just the top part, we've been doing lots of coordination with our community partners, and a big portion of that is our expansion just to ensure that we're reaching our folks in the rural areas. And then also our landscape analysis and adding these urgent walk-in type clinics. And we actually have secured another MOU that I'll be bringing to a future court as well. We co-hosted the annual community memorial for the homeless and unclaimed again back in December. I believe this was our third or maybe fourth year, I apologize, to be involved in that as a partner. And it was a very nice event. I believe the news covered it briefly. It's grown each year in attendance. Moving on to some ongoing projects. I received a call the end of last week that the Limestone Medical Center and Mart Rucker Clinic project has actually moved to the bid phase. And so the bid came in for that project at a little over $422,000. So now within the community, you know, they're taking that and trying to explore funding for that project. It's kind of a pivotal time for that because they're in a position to receive the Rural Health Clinic accreditation, which will help with their funding if they're able to secure that construction project and get that open there in the community. And just to remind the court, that will also provide our office an additional location to operate county health services out in the regional area.
Okay.
Let's see. Also, the Mart ISD and Shepherd's Heart have kind of partnered up, and they're doing a test pilot program where they'll host a food distribution project there twice a week. It'll be a partnership that I kind of help co-facilitate between the two organizations, which will require some funding from Mart ISD to purchase a portable type building that will be operated by Shepherd's Heart, but it will be owned by the school and on the premises of the school. And if this project is successful, Shepherd's Heart would like to use this as, again, a test pilot location to expand out into other regional rural locations with school districts. And some partnership coordination that our department has been doing with Golson. They've actually since partnered with Shepherd's Heart, and they're going to host some food distribution events in that area as well.
Good.
Let's see. I have failed to include on my ongoing projects our need to do some mound smoothing at Restland, but TJ's aware, and it's really weather dependent, but I just kind of want to keep that on our list of things to do. We've got several years worth of graves that just need, some smoothing out, and Phipps has offered to come out and move the headstones for the smoothing and then reset the headstones afterwards. So that'll just really be dependent on weather and availability of TJ's crew to get that done.
Okay.
Down in our graph under the county indigent healthcare portion, really our numbers are staying steady. The program's busy as our case management services, and that's a program we started several years ago with the support of the court, and that is just where beyond county indigent healthcare, we're also offering case management services to folks and assisting with Social Security applications, food stamp applications, housing applications, just really supporting them in other case management needs that they might have beyond just county indigent healthcare. And this last quarter, we served 51 individuals for a total of 89 case management services. And just to remind the court, we're really the only department within McLennan County that offers case management services that aren't directly tied to our program. And what that means is that you don't necessarily have to be a county indigent healthcare recipient to receive case management assistance. Whereas in most other departments around the county, you would need to be actually actively receiving their services in order to benefit from case management assistance. But what we found is if we can often help them link to some of these other services, then the likelihood that they need ours or others in the future decreases. So it's an investment in the community as a whole.
Heather, would you say that has, there seems to be a considerable drop in the total clients served from, all right, is that?
Oh, no, sir. Our total number of clients served is 354.
Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. And if you look at that graph to the right, you can kind of see over the years since COVID, our numbers have steadily increased.
Right. So I was surprised to see that, but that's just through the first quarter of 24?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then moving on down, our budget, we're doing fine. Of course, it's just the end of the first quarter. Our jail medical claims, everything's just steady. Our number of paupers that we're referrals we're receiving is remaining steady. And that's really all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
All right, any questions? All right, if there's not any questions, I would make a motion that we approve this report for recording purposes.
Second.
All right, have a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to go to Information Technology Monday Activity Report, October through December. Call on Mr. John Carter.
Morning.
Morning.
So Mike will also cover October through December. Microsoft 365 rollout, that's still in progress. That's going to be a months-long process, as well as next year when we upgrade licenses, when we roll into the next set of G3s. But just to give you a quick update on those, we're about approximately 50% through the G3 licenses, which means moving folks off of the old email system and moving them completely to the installed applications for 365. We have everyone off the old email system as far as active email right now. What we have on there is anything historical from, I believe it was the 17th we moved over of December. We're working out, we have most of the server applications moved over. We have, so our big challenge right now is moving the Office 2016 users because that 2016 is end of life. So that's why we're focusing on that at the moment. We have 78 users left on 2016. And it all depends on, as far as the speed of that, it all depends on how much data is there, when the person's available for us to move it, those sort of things. Moving down, we put a new help desk platform in use. That help desk platform moved over to Manage Engine. So we moved on November 17th, I think it was. Yes, November 17th, we moved help desk platforms. So in this particular report, you're going to see two sections of help desk. One is from the old system, one is from the new system. We changed a lot of the a lot of the categories that we use to make them more applicable to us. So they don't exactly match up. That's why I kept them in two sections this time. The .gov transition, well underway. The only thing we have left there to do is our intranet. We're moving all the users over to the new email. And then anyone, and we will make an announcement, of course, to the users, anyone still using your .tx.us address for logins in other places outside of the county. A lot of people use that as their account email. So we want to try to encourage people to move off. However, as I stated before, it's still true that TXUS will work in perpetuity forever. It's free to us, so there's no reason to kill that address. The audiovisual position was hired, as you well know. He's running the meeting today and doing very well. So I'll move on to our challenges. A shortage of IT support personnel. That was true October through December, though I will put an update to that. We hired 2 technicians at the beginning of January. So we're actually fully staffed from a support perspective, so that will not be in the next report unless something drastic happens. Our IT office space is very tight. We've mentioned this to a few commissioners and the judge, and we've approached the space committee about looking at developing some space in the second floor of the purchasing area. So we have a notable increase in phishing attempts for targeting our employees, our cybersecurity stance. As you all know, and I've said it before, our cybersecurity stance is really pretty good. We have great scores and we look and test that. We had a pretty good evaluation last year in July, but it just takes one. That's always the answer to that. It only takes one to bring you down. So you have to be ever vigilant in that regard, and we are seeing increases over the holidays, especially of the phishing attempts. Phishing attempts, just quick definition for people typically through email where they're trying to get someone to click on something or do something that would hurt the county systems.
Scott sent me an email.
Yeah, the judge was sending out emails to folks, though he didn't know it.
Sending all kinds of crazy stuff.
Hey, he's just blocking.
Yes.
And also 2 county service providers, Johnson Controls, which TJ kind of touched on with the controller problems they were having. Johnson Controls and MHMR here in Waco, which is where our Veteran Service Office is housed with, both had cybersecurity incidents where they were breached. Nothing luckily affected the county adversely. We shut off access to that Johnson Controls computers for a while until we could figure out a remediation for it. And Veteran Service Office, we did scanning of all their PCs, make sure they hadn't been affected. MHMR has since cleared up that problem they had, and we put everyone back online. And for Johnson Controls, we will be looking at probably a budget item to move away from them because they are not planning to update their stuff. So some selected projects, as I've already mentioned, the Office 365. The courthouse digital display is in progress. We're working with MOB on that. TJ's team is doing pretty well. I think we're getting pretty close to getting that up and running. Archives and indigent health surveillance system. That building had no surveillance whatsoever. You have a lot of folks working there, and especially in winter, leaving at night, coming and going. So we're having, the vendor is waiting, we're waiting on the vendor, excuse me, to get that surveillance system put in. Excuse me. Enterprise Public Safety is starting, it's in progress on the Tyler. We're waiting on the project schedule right now. We hope, again, approximately June, July of 2025 to finish that project. The 74th and 414th court swap, that has been completed. I think all is well there as far as we've known. The elections SMS text service has been completed. We're up and ready for the elections. The Road and Bridge 2 surveillance system, that's been completed. JP5 surveillance system, internet upgrade with redundancy, that's a big one. So our Cobb's facility, our facility here now has the redundant connections at 1 gigabit. We've added the IHC and archives building to our network. JP2 has been put back under contract. That has all been completed. The service desk conversion to managed engines, I mentioned on the 17th of November. Again, just these numbers just on this report will be in 2 sections for help desk. Next quarter, we'll be back to normal on with one report. And then our VPN client update's been completed as well. So again, another addition to our cybersecurity program. I won't bore you with a lot of those numbers that you're seeing in charts. If you do have questions, of course, I'll answer any of those. Our audio eye, this quarter sits at 93%. That fluctuates up and down between 93 and 97%. As I noted in there, 90% is considered good. And the awareness training, one note I would like to make about that, we're at about 67% of the entire county. Obviously, we need 100% by the end of August. That's a while, but it tends to be once you've put it out there, and if somebody hasn't done it, chances are they're not going to do it. So we'll put out reminders.
Is that the cybersecurity or?
Yes, that's that cybersecurity training you'll have to take.
State mandated?
State mandated, Senate Bill 933, I want to say.
You said 100%. Does it need to be 100?
It needs to be 100%. I could be mistaken, but I believe the actual threshold is 90% you must have to make sure you're still eligible for cybersecurity grants and that sort of thing.
It's due by when, August?
The end of August.
Pardon me?
31st, isn't it?
31st of August, yes.
Okay. So, I think on incentive pay or those kind of things, those would be affected if they don't complete that, or is that okay?
Yes, that is part of, there are 2 things that we require there.
So there is an incentive to do it then?
There is. We hope. I would also note the one thing I did put down here is departments that do have 100% completion, where to point them out. You can read those in there. One thing I will say about the numbers, our internet bandwidth usage, our email flow, we haven't seen any noticeable change in that, either up or down. So there was nothing to really note there. It's fairly normal activity, in other words. Moving on to the archives department. Again, very comparable numbers. You'll see, it says quarter 3 and 4 there, but what that really is FY24, FY23 quarter 4 and FY23 quarter 1, October, excuse me, October through December. If you look at those, fairly comparable numbers, really nothing of significance there, I would say. The one note I would make, the very last item in the report, the last court session, I believe it was the judge who brought up how much space we have in the archives left. So we're starting to track that.
Okay.
Currently sits at 8,239 linear feet, or approximately 8,239 boxes, typical file boxes we could put in there. That's empty space we can use. As you know, every month we shred what we can, according to, of course, statutes and all that.
Right.
and we digitize files and shred when we can. So we're doing what we can to reduce that number.
Are you keeping up with it, or are you behind? getting-
Yes, it's, Claire and her
Yes to
crew
which
are
one?
always on
You
top of it.
said yes, which question? did you answer?
Both. And no, we are keeping up with it. Claire keeps up with it. We have a company, RW Lone Star, that comes in and shreds for us pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Her staff, she has not, quote unquote, fallen behind. I believe, now this is the first, one thing I will say about this is the first time we've measured this number, so there's no comparison yet. We'll measure that across time, and you'll see that in the next reports to see if we're shrinking or, you know, if we're gaining space or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
That'll obviously tell us whether we need more space down the road.
Well, you would assume we eventually would, if we keep growing and those kind of things, right? I mean,
Well, yes and no. Yes, in that if we keep
which one are you
growing-
answering yes to, and which one are you answering no to?
Well, the answer is both yes and no. So as,
Gotta
as
run
we
for
get
office.
larger, that will require more storage, no doubt. However, when it comes to things like the courts and the district clerk files, those can be digitized and shredded right away as we do that project. So it could be that we actually shrink that as
Why
we
is
go.
there even, paper still going around up there, if that makes any sense?
A multifaceted answer.
We're
It's,
supposed to e-file and all that, and
it's certainly due to how we work right now with our current systems and stuff. We just don't have the capability at the moment to completely go digital, if you will. It's also as part of the project to digitize all the court files and stuff. You must have, I think I mentioned this before, you must have your data center regionally distributed so that there's reasonable security and that it won't be wiped out by one tornado or a storm. And we don't have that currently.
so
We are
having
working
a
at
data
it.
center over at Cobb's is not, that doesn't count as regional?
No, the way they.
So it's gotta be out of the city somewhere else.
It's got to be out of your, I believe they call it a weather pattern region or
weather,
something like that. I think Ryan could probably define that a little bit better, Ryan Durker. But, so it has to be some ways away from us. We're actually talking to Texarkana and College Station about possible co-location facilities. And there would have to be both setting that up and getting the agreements and all such in place. And then also, everyone who deals with these files, like the district clerk, would have to become comfortable with that because obviously they're the custodian of the record. So there's a lot of work to do there. It won't be anytime immediately.
Well,
But we are looking at that and trying to work that and get that done eventually.
so the other day, I got a call from an office that said they don't have any more room for file space and all. And so, as you know, space is expensive. And to put something in space that has no value is waste. So I asked Claire and TJ to go to that office, and I don't know what the result is, but to analyze what they could do to maximize space they have, because they've got limitations on being able to expand. And stacking file cabinets everywhere for more paper copies to be stored that really could be stored at the archives building that we spent millions of dollars on just doesn't make any sense. And I think it was 2 years ago, we had a spring cleaning, office spring cleaning, and archives are very helpful in talking to officers about how to clean up their files, get, offload things that need to be kept, but doesn't need to necessarily be in that office over to, and there's a lot of movement. I mean, and so I'd like the court to consider a resolution here before too long about a spring cleaning that's gonna include the file. It won't, I'm thinking of it more of a broad base spring cleaning, but it's managing space is part of it. And then cleaning the space that we have as well. So be good to have that report and know what what our capacity is and those kind of things. And then also be sure we have staff in place to go by and consult with each office about, here's what we can do to help you those kind of things. And then some of it's gonna be, you know, maintenance of buildings helping out as well, which they always do. I mean, that's a given. And, so, I think those working hand in hand can be important, for that.
Yes, they're having, I'm not sure exactly which group it is, but they're having the folks, we're having a lot of the files over there moved in archives so we can build out those offices we've been talking about.
Right,
They're using the folks that are on the weekend doing community service, I believe, are coming over there to help move all that stuff out, move it to where we can build the offices. And as you may know, we have a, I don't know if it's a renovation project scheduled for that second floor. Once they move the offices out, they're gonna open up where their current offices are. Because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in that building where you
Right.
just can't store anything, unfortunately.
Right.
But the plan is to basically bust it open so it's one big square space
Yeah.
that we can more efficiently use.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think the spring clean's a great idea, not only to move paper over to archives, but to also look at digitization at that point.
Yeah, great.
Because a lot of folks are keeping stuff not according to statute, I'm sure, that they just need to have.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's a time issue. They don't have time to go through a file and pull out stuff that doesn't need to be in the file. I mean, we all do that, procrastinate. And so, you know,
Yes.
some way to help with the deal.
That's part of the digitization problem as well, is
I have
literally
no
people scan
idea,
in.
I have no idea what's in the bottom left drawer of my desk. But it's full,
I'm sure, yes.
so anyhow,
Empty candy wrappers?
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe some, yeah. Or rat's nest, I don't know what's in there. Okay,
But you made a good point. The actual labor-intensive part of scanning all that in as well.
Yeah.
We have, I know the district clerk has folks dedicated to that. Our archives folks do it pretty constantly as we're doing it for the DA files currently. Tough business. There is one other note before I finish up.
okay,
And that's a current issue we're having with the TLET stuff. The sheriff's office knows all about that. It's a state issue. DPS, Shaquinta is working with DPS and our sheriff's department trying to get that straightened out so they can do their business of checking on people, you know, doing
Yeah.
the records checks and stuff that they have to
right,
do.
right, okay. Good.
Ongoing issue, again, state-related, where the state made a change and it kind of broke everyone in the state, it seemed.
Yeah. Shut it down for a while.
Quite a few folks started last week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
that's all I have.
thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you, TJ. Is there a motion to approve, not TJ, excuse me, John?
Take that as a compliment.
Yeah. And I apologize, TJ. All right, is there a motion to approve John's report for recording purposes?
Second.
A motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
All right, under items E.
Okay, I have my usual report, which gives you annual figures along with period highlights for the last quarter, so October to December. I want to highlight a few kind of newer programs or projects that we were able to roll out this past period. From HR in partnership with other departments. So the first, we were able to calculate initial effectiveness of the third-party recruitment company that came in to assist the sheriff's office to fill jailer positions. They were able to hire 11 jailers. They filled 11 positions. And so we'll be monitoring that for turnover off of those hires, because I feel like that long-term effectiveness we want to definitely report back on. And another new thing during, before I get to that, sorry. So just also to touch on recruitment, I want to highlight a decrease in overall countywide vacancies. This last quarter, at the beginning of the fiscal year, the county began with 93 vacancies. Here, as of January, that's down to 84 vacancies, and the jail specifically is down to 15 vacancies from what averaged about 25 or so at any time. So we're seeing an improvement in retention, which is great. Another program I want to highlight that will also touch back on retention is the night shift pay program. We have a full quarter of information now following implementation of the night shift program, which again was a concerted effort with the auditor's office and the jail and HR. And so that the cost and the quantity of employees reporting night shift pay is in line so far with the proposed amounts when the program was implemented. And so that's all falling in line. What we're seeing off of that, we believe it's helping the retention. So this quarter only saw 18 employees leave from that jailer group. That same quarter in the previous year, so in 2022, there were 29. So that's a huge difference that we saw in
Were
this.
you able to get exit reviews on most of those?
So a lot of them are resignations. I don't know off the top of my head if they were related to job opportunities, but
Yeah.
I could report back on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it
Yes.
wasn't a problem.
So that's night shift pay report. Again, we'll of course continue to monitor that and bring back a full year of numbers.
Can I ask a question on that right there, or if you're?
Yes, sir.
On the numbers where you have the 292, the 292,400 projected night shift
Yes.
cost based on first quarter, what are you adding up to get to those numbers?
So the quarter, the average for that quarter, which is October to December, if we were to apply that to all 4 quarters of the year, it would amount to this figure here, the 292,400. Those numbers aren't going to add up because October only saw half of that month pay out.
Oh, okay, so I
It
know if you
didn't
added those 3 multiplied times 4, you didn't
Right.
get 292,400.
Yes, sir. I'm glad I remembered that because yes, you would have caught that.
Okay,
So
that's
yes,
because
good catch.
October was not a full month.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it wasn't implemented until halfway through October, the second paycheck of October, going into the new fiscal year. So good catch there. So that's why those numbers don't add up. But it is calculated or factored into my 292
Right,
figure there.
right.
So
Okay.
that is accurate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is recruitment. We're seeing improvement on application numbers and then improvement on retention. So we're hanging on to employees longer. And so what you can see off of that is a decrease in overall countywide turnover. We were projecting to be at 19% for 2023 turnover, and we actually finished 2023 calendar year at 17%. So better than expected, which is good news. The other new program I wanted to highlight was our new gym membership, free gym membership, OnePass. We were able to distribute communications to that to employees at the beginning of this month, and we already have 219 membership code downloads. So that means the employee went into their account or set up their account and downloaded their membership code, which is what they need to take to the gym to set up their membership or to provide to an online fitness provider.
Remind me if that's available to all employees or just the ones on the health plan?
It's only the ones on the health plan. So you have to be on the health plan.
How many people we have on a health plan? And you said 292, is that what you said?
219, and
19.
we have about 900 employees or so on the health plan.
So about a fifth. So, yeah.
Mhm.
That's good start.
This is the big month that
That's a good
people
start.
go on that,
Yeah.
get on the exercise program.
I
and
noticed
then-
a lot of people walking around looking healthy already.
Well, and when the fish start biting, it drops off.
That's true,
Yep.
that's true. That's true.
Another program I wanted to, it's not a new program to the county. It was, there were campaigns prior. We tried to kickstart it back up, and that's the United Way program. And so we got a full report now off of enrollment, and that was the different thing that we did this time with the campaign is we included it as a part of our open enrollment elections. And so people got to kind of click through and elect it online. And the total there that people picked for their pay period deduction would amount to an $8,000 countywide contribution. And we have 51 employees who've opted to help the United Way. So also compared to previous numbers, a great increase there. So we were happy to see that, and we'll continue partnering with Health Services with Heather Travers. She's the loan executive there for United Way, and United Way themselves to push out information on the benefits that they offer our community.
And no surprise, they're real tickled to have her participation in that. That she's very active and effective, which,
Yes.
like I say, is no surprise.
Yes, would agree there. This isn't a new program, this is just higher than normal activity that we saw in our supports service interactions. And that's where HR might be helping an employee who has a workplace issue or a supervisor who needs support with addressing an employee issue. And typically we have about 20 per quarter, but that's been increasing. And this past quarter, there's no differing in that trend. We saw an increase there. So instead of 20, we had 34 support service interactions for that total. So rather than ending the year at our projected amount of 70, we actually ended at 84. So this past quarter saw a lot of activity there that we were able to assist supervisors with. Another thing, we got final numbers on our county-wide workforce training for harassment prevention and workplace injury and illness prevention. We have 94% participation for that. So 94% of our workforce completed both sets of training, which is a great number. And again, like Judge Felton mentioned for cybersecurity training, this is also connected to incentive pay. And so we tie that to ensure the highest amount of participation, the largest amount of participation for that preventative training. Something I want to highlight here as well, and this is in honor of Commissioner Miller. The court as a whole, of course, has an appreciation for workforce diversity, but and Commissioner Miller, of course, was no different, and she held it as a very high priority and mission in her role as commissioner. And so for her and for the court, I want to highlight employee demographics. So here, she would be very proud to see our comparison from 2020 to 2024. We're seeing great progress in making our workforce a reflection of the general population of McLennan County. I have here that first column in this table. If you're following along with me, it's page 20 over 24 for January 24. This first column, here, this first table addresses race and ethnicity. And this first column is our percentages countywide for population 18 years and over based off this 2020 census. The following column, that's our current employee population demographics for race and ethnicity, and for 2020, and I included 2020 so we can see what 4 years of progress looks like. And our numbers are inching closer to the general population, which means we are doing well in representing our community through our workforce. And the next table, the last table there, it's the same figures but for gender, and same there, making progress toward being a truer reflection of the county-wide population. I just wanted to highlight that. And does anybody have any questions on HR's report?
Couple, if I could, Judge.
Yeah.
Back under the period data highlights, Anna,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned that countywide, only 3 employees earned more comp time than HR employees did in the 2 months, I guess, 2 months' time. And it said 2 of those 3 were election employees, which, during that election cycle, understood. But what department was the third one?
Three employees. Oh, it was a sheriff's office employee. I don't,
Okay.
I don't know the position off the top of my head.
Okay.
It was a single sheriff's office employee.
All right. And then I guess under the One Pass Fitness, if you join, you really need to go. Is that the idea? Doesn't help just to, I can sign up.
That's good to point out. Yes, the intent is that
Okay.
people
I knew
go
there'd be a catch to
and
it.
get fit, yes.
I get sore filling out them, application.
The thing why I was impressed with One Pass is you're not required to give a credit card or anything like that for membership.
That's right. And it might prompt you to
No form
give.
of payment.
That's right. It might prompt you to enter a credit card, but that's only if you, for some reason, electing a program that is above our classic tier. So that could happen, but our current classic tier is so expansive that it's unlikely. And then also something to share that we'll be communicating in more detail for employees is that you can sign up for multiple gyms. So you can use that code and take it to multiple gyms. So if you have something that's closer to home and you want to go to that gym, but you also want to go to something that's close to work and you sign up at that gym, you can sign up for multiple gyms at the same time. So something we'll stress moving forward or emphasize.
It's interesting.
Okay, good. All right, any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve honors report for recording purposes?
Second.
That motion second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Judge, can we get a 5 minutes?
Yeah, let me get these two. and
I'm
I'll-
sorry, go right ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Under items E11 and E12, we do not have reports in either one of those, and so now those reports may be in the package. I'm not.
They were, yeah.
They were. All right, unless someone wants to defer these or pull them, is there a motion to approve both these?
So
for
moved.
recording purposes? All right. We have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. All right, let's take a 5-minute break. It's 10:22. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
All right, it's 10:30. Let's call the court back into session. I'd like to go to items F1, under Human Resources, and I think there's several commissioners or several members of the court working on some analysis of this, so I'd like to ask that, I'd like to make a motion, we defer this to the next meeting.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right, under items F2, under Constable Precinct 5, Anna.
Yes, we have Constable Precinct 5 requesting to appoint and hire Deputy Lawrence Brown. This is for their full-time deputy vacancy. It's position number 1757. This person applied for the posted position that was posted to the public and was posted for more than the required 5 days. And this applicant does meet the minimum requirements outlined by the job posting and description, and the constable's office has ensured the applicant meets the licensing TCOL standard, and they'd like to hire this person effective February 1st. And HR does recommend for approval.
All right, any questions or comments?
Budgeted item, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve. Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. Under item G, under grants and grant proposals. All right, under G1, G1A, authorization of beneficiary agreement with the city of Lacey Lakeview on tornado siren replacement. So Commissioner Jones?
So this is the cost share agreement with the city of Lacey Lakeview for the portion of the tornado siren replacement that goes out into, that can be heard out in the county, Elmont area. The the original quote was for a solar-powered and unit, and that's what we approved at $18,412.50 per each entity. And then there's also an AC/DC powered one, regular wired, and that it's at their discretion whether or not they want to. I'm gonna just leave it up to Lacey Lakeview as to what they.
So would it be appropriate to make a motion to up to $18,896.50?
That's 18,000.
$18,896.50.
So we only approved $18,412.
But couldn't we today vote to,
I would want to stick to that kind of amount there. So, I mean, that's up to the court.
Scott Johnson, he'll be installing this from the City of Waco Radio Shop. He'll be overseeing the installation. Prefers and recommends the solar one as well, so you can stay at that lower price.
he recommended the solar one?
He did.
Okay.
Less maintenance.
So that's what we already approved? Okay, so what do we need?
Approve the
Just say-
beneficiary agreement.
Yeah, a motion to approve the beneficiary agreement with the city of Lacey Lakeview for the county's portion, only $18,412.50.
Okay.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. All right, Dustin on G2.
Yes, sir. So G2 is discussion and/or action regarding rural law enforcement grant under Senate Bill 22. We had previously got court approval to apply for this grant. Reagan was on received a message through a listserv from the comptroller's office that recommended county going ahead and adopting resolution. It just sets out the standard things we do when we apply for grants. It authorizes the application. It sets out that county judge will be the grant's authorized official. And then it also just says that in the event of loss or misuse of funds, the county's responsible for paying those funds back. It'd be all the things we'd be signing up for in a grant award anyway. So it's our recommendation that we approve this resolution.
All right, any questions?
Is this different or the same one that the DA's office was looking at?
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same. This is the law enforcement part, which the county has to apply for. On the DA's, on the prosecutor part, the DA actually has to, they become the authorized official and they are the ones applying.
It's separate monies. They're applying for.
Right.
Okay.
Out of the same pool.
Okay, out of the same pool, but separate.
It's out of the same Senate Bill 22.
Well, my thought, looking down the road at what's body worn cameras may end up costing us, I think it's wise that we apply for this grant and then hopefully can use it to offset some of those costs down the road somewhere, maybe. Just a thought.
Okay.
My only thing with this whole grant is it how long? I mean, it's not. Just remember, it's just like any other grant. It is.
It could go away.
It could go away. It's subject to appropriations and.
I certainly support applying for the grant.
Okay. Is that a motion?
So moved to
Second.
approve the resolution.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Item H1 is the McLennan County Local Provider Participation Fund. This is an IGT. I'd like to call on Heather.
Good morning. This is a request to IGT up to the balance in the LPPF for the uncompensated care program demonstration year 13 advance. And this has a due date of February 1st with a settlement date of February 2nd.
All right, any questions?
I do. Do you know the balance, Heather, Dustin?
Yes, sir. It was on my quarterly report I just presented. And that is $3,200,738.88. That was the balance after the last transaction on January the 11th.
And for the year 2023, how much was total? How much was IGT total?
How many transactions?
Yeah. Do you? I mean, I know. I guess we could just go back and look at your reports, but.
Yes, sir. I can compile those into one report and send them to you if you'd like.
That'd be good to know.
Okay.
Motion to approve the balance. Motion to approve up to the balance in the LPPF account on the day of the IGT.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Item H2, approve and ratify joint order appointing general associate judge. So Judge Hodges had announced his retirement from the general associate judge position effective February 29th. And just kind of a reminder of how this position works. The court approves and funds the position, and then the authority flows through the judges. And so it's the Board of Judges, it's our district court judges, county court at law judges. They met on January 24th, and they named Rob Swanton as the next general associate judge with a start date of March the 1st. And so we need a motion to just to ratify their order from the general associate judge, and then it just specifies is that judge shall have the powers provided by law and shall serve the functions assigned by the Board of Judges.
Any questions?
The only question I would ask, did they interview multiple people, or do you know, Dustin?
I'm not sure. I know there were several names that were discussed, but we just kind of got the report after the meeting that morning.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
So
sir.
did I read or see somewhere that all of the specialty courts are going to fall under on
yeah.
his,
So,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, and that's something that we've talked about for a while, but, so the Veterans Court, the Alcohol and Drug Court and, Mental Health Court would all come under one, which Judge Vic, there wasn't a lot, the volume in veterans is pretty low. Judge Vic is one of the more active ones, but he was good with that. He thought it was a good idea, even though he enjoyed doing, those things, but, and he'll still help out and participate, in those recognitions and all, but.
the DWI court was quite busy though, right? I mean, that was.
Yeah.
And so will it fall under this also too?
So it's just administrative duties, basically? Is that what?
Well, no, so, no, there's actually cases filed in those courts.
Right.
Yeah, but the volume, it appears that, you add them all together, the volume's still very it can be handled. Dustin, isn't that the way we kinda analyzed it?
That's correct. And then as Judge Swanton kind of steps off into it, I know there's been discussion where Vic can maintain the DWI drug court for a while and then transfer it over. But the new judge would serve as a presiding judge at the Veterans Treatment Court, Mental Health Treatment Court, DWI Drug Treatment Court, and then be available to set for the judges, county court, district court, as needed as well, and as well as Judge Felton for probates when needed.
So he's actually gonna handle those cases of all those different courses.
Right.
Combined. Then what will the other judges be doing who formerly handled those cases?
What they're doing now, because their workload's increasing.
Because the workload's increasing.
Yeah,
He'll just be able to take.
So Judge Coley, is now the administrative district judge, which gives him more responsibility, and by the way, he's very active in that. Yeah, they'll just
Okay.
be able to handle more cases and those things, so.
Good.
All right.
So, what, we need to ratify the appointment? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
all we're doing?
Yes, sir. And, I'd make the motion, we ratify that action.
Second?
There's a motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass. And I think, Rob Swanton is a judge, and that, he'll be very good. He is I think we'll look back next year and really glad he's in that spot, and we appreciate all that Judge Hodges has done. I mean, besides handling those, mental health cases and structuring it, he built that whole department, and so, that's he's to be commended for that. But additionally, a lot of people don't know that Judge Hodges lent out his opinions on helping make decisions in other courts, and then he actually sat in, and because of his, he was able to handle all types of, criminal, civil, probates, guardianships, about 4 or 5 times a year out of 4 or 5 weeks out of the year. On Wednesdays, he'd cover with me if I was at a TAC conference or somewhere else. And so he'll be sorely missed for sure. And can't say how much I personally appreciate him. All right. Okay, Dustin.
All right. Moving on to item H3, discussion and action on property access and use agreement for roads, drainage projects, disposal of dirt and rock, and authorization to use donated milled asphalt base for creating access to on the property where dirt and rock is being disposed. Commissioner Perry?
Yes, sir, thank you. What we're asking for today is the ability to go ahead and begin between rain spells right now. We're gonna have to build a little pad into this property. It's an old gravel pit that is owned by Mr. Travis Yoder. He's asked that if we could put anything in there, it would benefit him greatly, and it would benefit us greatly as we're fixing to get into our ditch season. But he's out of town until Monday, so we couldn't get everything done. We're just asking for permission to go ahead and move forward, and then we'll come back with the agreement on a later date, back the next court hearing. So, no one has any issues or opposition to it, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. All right, Dustin, anything else to come before the court?
No, sir, that should complete it.
All right. So, we got everything covered. We didn't miss any spots? Okay, good. All right, there's nothing else to come before the court. We stand adjourned.